The ingredients for this recipe are listed here, followed by the directions. Pause the video if you need more time, or keep watching for step-by-step instructions. The total cost of all the ingredients used is $7.75. This recipe serves 4 people, so the cost per serving is $1.93. Hi, my name is Caitlin, and I'm a SNAP nutritionist for Cornell Cooperative Extension of Jefferson County. Today we'll be showing you how to make Picadillo. So as you can see here, there are quite a few ingredients for this recipe, but they are all low-cost ingredients and can be easily found at your local food pantry or your grocery store. So the first ingredient that you're going to need is 1 cup of uncooked brown rice. So brown rice is a whole grain, so it's definitely going to be preferred over white rice. Whole grain provides a lot of dietary fiber, some B vitamins, and a lot of minerals as well. Dietary fiber is important to add to your diet because it helps with gut health and digestion. It also helps lower the risk of some diseases, and it also helps keep you full for longer, so definitely a good thing to add. White rice is going to be refined grain, meaning they take out some of those vitamins and minerals and that fiber. It can be enriched, meaning they add some of those vitamins and minerals back into it, but they cannot add fiber back into it. So that is why my plate recommends that half of your grains for the day be from whole grains. Then you need 2 cups of water, which I'll get from the tap. You need 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil, 1 yellow onion. I have red onion at home, so that's what I'm going to be using. I need 1 bell pepper, and then 2 cloves of garlic. If you don't have garlic cloves at home, you can definitely use garlic powder, or you can use minced garlic that comes in a jar. You need 1½ teaspoons of dried oregano. You need 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and salt. Then you need 3/4 pound of lean ground turkey or beef. I have that right here. And when they say lean, they mean 92% lean and 8% fat or higher. So you can find that at the top of the package right here. So it's 93% lean, 7% fat. So this is definitely a lean option in what you're looking for. When you're choosing your protein for this recipe, you want to vary your protein sources. So if you're someone that likes to eat a lot of ground beef, maybe try ground turkey for this recipe. Different vitamins and minerals come from different protein sources, so you definitely want to vary those throughout your day and throughout the week. Then you need 1 can, which is 14½ ounces, of diced tomatoes, which I have right here. When it's possible, you want to choose a low sodium option for canned vegetables. They do have a lot more sodium than fresh products, but they are just as nutritionally great, and they're actually sometimes easier to use in recipes and quicker to use. So they're definitely a great option, and I would recommend them for sure, and they're much cheaper. So definitely look for the low sodium options. The store that I went to did not have a low sodium option for this canned product. What you do in that situation, you need to look at the back of the nutrition facts, find the sodium, look at the percent daily value, and this is 8% in this case. And daily value tells you how much of a nutrient in a serving of food contributes to a daily diet, and that's actually defined at the bottom of the nutrition facts. So compare different brands and different types of the product that you're looking for, and choose the one that has the least amount of sodium if you can't get the no sodium option or low sodium option. Then you need 1 can of low sodium black beans, which I have right here. And these ones are actually low sodium. It says it right at the top of this banner right there. It says low sodium there. One thing I will note about black beans, they fall into both the category of vegetables and protein because of their nutrient content. So they are definitely a great staple and great thing to add to your diet if you're not already doing so. They're very nutritious. Then you need 1/4 cup of green olives. I do not have green olives displayed here because I'm personally not going to be using them. If you do like green olives, I would recommend adding them to this recipe. They're great in unsaturated fat, which helps lower your risk of heart disease. Then the last ingredient, you need 1/4 cup of raisins, which I have right here. So this is also going to be adding fruit into our recipe. So we have grains, we have protein, we have vegetables, and we have fruit in this as well. So it's definitely a great recipe to use. Typically when you're buying products, you want to make sure that you're buying them in bulk because they're usually cheaper. In this case, it was actually cheaper to buy the individual packaging of raisins. So I might be using 2 of these, but it was cheaper to buy the individual package versus the big container of raisins. And you want to check the unit price to figure that out, which will be on the price tag on the shelf. So that's all the ingredients that you need. So let's get cooking. So a couple of food safety tips before we get started. Before you start working with any food, you want to make sure you wash your hands for a full 20 seconds, and then make sure your work surface is clean. So you just need to clean that with hot soap and water. So I'm going to wash my hands right now. On top of washing your hands, before you start cooking or chopping any of your vegetables, you want to make sure you rinse them off. Even if it's something that you're going to peel, like the onion, you want to make sure that you wash the skin on the outside. Because once you push a knife through it, all that bacteria from the outside can transfer to the inside. So make sure you're rinsing those off. The other thing you want to do is making sure you're rinsing the top of your cans off. Rinse those off so that all the bacteria and the dust and everything that's on those, so it doesn't get into it when you puncture it with a can opener. So you want to make sure you do that. Also, when you pour it out, you want to make sure you rinse where you're going to pour out as well, so that none of those germs get on the food that you're going to be eating. When you're picking your cans out in the store, you want to make sure you're choosing options that don't have any dents in them, because the dents can cause punctures to the can and can cause air to get in, which would spoil the food that's inside of it. So definitely make sure you're choosing and inspecting your cans before you purchase them so they don't have any dents in them. Those are ready to use. So the first step in this recipe is to cook your brown rice just by following the packaging instructions. So this says I need 1 cup, for 1 cup of rice, I need 1.5 cups of water. So I have that right here. So I'm just gonna pour that into my pot. I always choose a bigger pot than what I think I need, just in case it boils over. You have a little extra room there. So I'm gonna turn that up to high because I want it boiling. I'm gonna cover the pot, and then once it starts boiling, I'm gonna add in my 1 cup of brown rice. I'm gonna reduce the heat at that point. I'm gonna let it simmer for 20 minutes. And then once it's done simmering, I'm just gonna flop it off with a fork and it'll be ready to use. So while your water is boiling with the brown rice, you wanna chop your vegetables. So I have to chop vegetables off camera, or onions off camera, because they make me cry. So that's already done. I cut them in pretty small slices just because that's how I prefer it. But we're gonna work on the green pepper right now. So you wanna take a smaller knife, at the top of the stem of the green pepper, and then carefully make sure the blade's pointing away from you while you do this. You put the knife and then slowly cut around it, and moving your hand so that it's not in front of the blade. So you just cut the stem out of it, and then you can pull all that out. So then you take the, you can see in there's just a little bit of seeds. I usually just take my hand and peel out whatever I can for it. It seems to get most of that white stuff out of it. And then I just dump it upside down and shake it, and I'll get any of those loose stems out. And you can see on the inside of it, it worked pretty well. Then I just take whatever knife I'm going to use to chop, and I cut it in half. So like I said, you can see it worked pretty well with that. So if you want to trim the rest of those whites, you can. Then you want to cut it into strips. Take those strips and line it up. I'm only going to do half at a time. Take those strips and line it up, and then you can dice it. So when the green pepper is all chopped, you want to move on to your garlic. So with this, if you have a garlic mincer or garlic press, whatever at home, you can definitely use that. I'm going to show you how to do it without that in case you don't have that little tool. So you just want to take the skin off the garlic here. I'm just setting it off to the side. And then you want to keep this brown end on it. You want to keep it on it. So you're going to hold on to that side. You're going to take your knife and you're going to slice through it, leaving just a little bit on the ends, like towards the brown part. So you can see here it kind of fans out like that, but it's all held together by the brown, or by the end there. So then you're going to take it and you're just going to dice it the other way. You can see it's all diced up there. So we're just going to do the same thing to the other one. This recipe does call for the black beans to be drained and rinsed. So I'm going to take a small strainer here and take the black beans, and I'm just going to dump them into that. And then I'm just going to take some cold water and run it over them. And then those are ready to use. While the rice is cooking, I have a pan on this back burner right here. I'm going to turn that to medium-high heat, and I'm going to add the 2 teaspoons of oil to this. When it gets hot, I'm going to add the onion, the pepper, and the garlic to it. Once these are cooked to tender crisp, you want to add your spices. So we need 1.5 teaspoons of dried oregano. So I have a half teaspoon here, so I need 3 of these. And then I need 1 teaspoon of cumin. And then I need a 1/4 teaspoon of both salt and pepper. All right, and then just stir it all around. All right, and then when that's mixed up, you want to add your meat, and you want to add it just in little chunks. So I'm just going to grab a chunk of the ground turkey, throw that in. I'm going to chop it up and mix it around. And then I'm going to grab another chunk. And then just keep doing that until all the meat is in there. So the timer went off telling me that it's been 20 minutes since the brown rice has been cooking. So I'm just going to remove the lid, give it a quick stir, and check to see if there's any water left in the bottom. And it doesn't look like there is, so it looks like that is all ready to go. Once your ground beef or ground turkey is cooked all the way through, you want to add your beans that we rinsed. And then you want to add your can of tomatoes with all of the juices in it. Give it a quick stir. And then you want to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. I did add an extra can. It's 8 ounces of this tomato sauce, and you can see on the top of just another example, it says no salt added right there. I did add this in just because there was not a lot of juices in the tomato can that I had, so just to give it a little bit more liquid in there. But your last step here is to just take your 1/4 cup of raisins and just dump those in. One of these boxes, it was 1 ounce, was actually a 1/4 cup. So I just needed 1 of those. If you are using olives, go ahead and throw those in as well. And then you're just going to stir it and cook for about 2 minutes just to make sure everything's heated through, and then it's ready to eat. So before I serve this brown rice, I'm just going to take a fork and I'm just going to fluff it up. And it should be ready to serve. If you wanted to, you could add some cheese on top of this and add the dairy group in there, and then you can get all 5 of those food groups in it. You could add some avocado to get a little bit more fat. You could really add whatever you wanted on top of this, and then enjoy it. Thanks for watching.
This video is sponsored by the USDA. The USDA is an equal opportunity employer. For more information, tips, and recipes, visit our website, snapedny.org. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, provides nutrition assistance to people with low income. It can help you buy nutritious foods for a better diet. To find out more, contact 1-800-352-8401.